I said I was gonna do this, and we're doing it. And luckily for me, I had the Gundam expert
I'm
over
not a
here.
full expert, but
He
my
knows
memory
he
is-
knows stuff.
my memory is shoddy as motherfucker, but I'm still good.
But anyway, what is going on, Sakurai Clan? I've been meaning to get into Gundam, not only because Master Zen had talked to me about it and wanted me to get into it, but also another friend of mine who I have known for a while also wanted me to get into Gundam anytime I could. So that is what we are going to be doing today. We are going to be getting into the Gundam timeline. And I'm not sure if I'm going to be if I'm going to react to the entire video because it is a long video. But I want to look at it just enough to get a feel of what I'm going to be getting into, because I've literally just been watching Mobile Suit Gundam from episode 1 all the way to currently to 6. I had to stop real quick so I can do this video. But after this video, just so you know, I'm going to be going right back into watching it. All right. Also, this video is by Crunchyroll Inside Animes. Every Gundam timeline explained. So if you want to check this out, it will be in the description down below.
Oh, oh, hey. Did see you there. In 2019, the Mobile Suit Gundam franchise celebrated its 40th anniversary. That's over 40 years of giant war robots, space politics, psychic pilots, Zakus, transformation combinations, and a Bull Gundam. Well, you get the idea. So, to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the Mobile Suit Gundam series, I shall be giving you all the timeline of the Gundam series. Now, for the sake of keeping this brief-ish, we're not going to be talking about the micro-series, shorts, commercials, games, game cutscenes, dome theater shows, the manga, etc., etc. Just the TV series, movies, and OVAs. Now, don't worry, I see you Ashtray fans, and I see you too, guy who just is watching a playlist of Girin's Greed cutscenes. And I also see you, person who claims to have the Green Divers multi-3-screen Neo experience on DVD, somehow. How the hell do you even get that? Let's get started. While Gundam is an international...
What is that?
That is a fucking rare thing to get. How the fuck do you get that shit? I've only heard about it briefly and shit. I still don't even know how to get where I can see it.
Oh, wow.
That shit is hard.
Sorry, my water pot for some reason was still on, but it's okay. Continue.
Media juggernaut of anime and model kits, that was far from a sure thing from the outset. In the late 1970s, Sunrise Animations was a relatively young company, with most of their work being contracted jobs from larger studios. In an effort to start creating original series they would own the rights to, Sunrise made a deal with toy company Clover to ultimately create 3 original giant robot anime. The first 2 of these were Muteki Chojin Zambot 3, 1977, and Muteki Kojin Daitarn 3, 1978. Both directed by Yoshiyuki Tomino, who also seemed to love the number 3. Anyway, while Tomino tried to push the envelope in these shows where he could, after doing 2 robot animes back to back, he wanted to do something a little different for the third. This would become Mobile Suit Gundam 3. Just kidding. It's just Mobile Suit Gundam.
I was getting ready to say,
that comes up often in the story of Gundam's creation, it's realism. To Tomino, striving for this sense of reality all coalesced around the idea of the mobile suit, a believable, generic technical term for a giant robot that was more military hardware than a superhero. It made more sense that a 20-meter giant robot would work better in space than on Earth. So that led to an emphasis on that setting. Outer space led him to the conflict. Space colonies rebelling against Earth. A human versus human war, rather than the more typical invading aliens, allowed for compelling human drama. This approach is what ultimately led Gundam to create a subgenre that would become known as Real Robot, reclassifying all previous giant robot shows as Super Robot by default. Gundam's character designer and animation director, Yoshikazu Yasuhiko, tried to make his characters different different from the typical hero characters. Gundam's mechanical design was handled by Kunio Okawara, who had notably been the first person in the anime industry to be credited for that role in 1972's Science Ninja Team Gatchaman. The toy company had the most input on the designs of the good guy mobile suits, Gundam, Gun Cannon, and Gun Tank, which ended up with them having bright colors and a combination gimmick. At the time, the only heroic robots in anime would get merchandise, since the typical Monster of the Week format meant that most bad guys didn't make more than one appearance. This allowed Okawara a lot more creative freedom to design the enemy mobile suits, with only one request from Tomino: give it.
So that's where that came from. Okay. Because like I said, and I was telling you off screen, I remember G Gundam from Toonami, and another show that came on and like a lot of times came on in early mornings. It was called SD Gundam, and it was literally just like the miniature little Gundams. I enjoyed that series, and I would always see those things, those blue. What did you call them again?
Zaku.
The blue Zakus.
It has a personal pilot that has a name called the Blue Giant.
Is he really a giant?
No, he was just scary to people.
Oh my.
No,
Otherwise, this led to the design of the mass-produced.
People get nicknames for doing amazingly well in wars. That usually they get it from their enemies.
So yeah, right. So for example, like Char being nicknamed the Red Comet.
Military-inspired and intimidating Zaku mobile suit. The Zaku has gone to become iconic in its own right, enjoying a pop culture footprint in Japan comparable to the Imperial Stormtroopers from Star Wars. Mobile Suit Gundam premiered on April 7th, 1979. Now, for the timeline bit, right here, as you can see, floating in the air, its story takes place in the year 0079 of the Universal Century Calendar. Now, these universal century, these timeline things is gonna be very important later on in the video, so stay tuned. So, 9 months into an apocalyptic war between the Earth Federation and the rebelling space colonists of the Principality of Zeon. Despite Zeon's resource disadvantage, their invention of the revolutionary mobile suit allowed them to conquer large parts of the Earth and fight the war to a stalemate. On the neutral colony of Side 7, a team of Zeon Zakus under the command of Mask Officer Charles Navel stumble across the Federation's own secret mobile suit development project and attacks. In the chaos, a civilian boy wonder named Amuro Ray comes across the Federation's prototype mobile Gundam suit. And
wait a minute, it's a prototype?
Yeah, it's a prototype. It's the very first one they made.
Okay.
I thought it was clear on that.
No, I thought it was like the final product.
No, it was the prototype. It was the first one they made that they were testing out.
Oh wow.
Because if you actually look further, you can see how the mobile suits are looking much different from this series.
Okay. That is something.
Is able to fend them off. Through repeated encounters, Amuro quickly develops a rivalry with Char, a legendary ace pilot known as the Red Comet, who is revealed to have his own mysterious agenda against the Zeon's ruling Zabi family dictatorship. Mobile Suit Gundam was far from an immediate success, and its production faced many challenges. From low ratings and low toy sales led to an interference from the sponsors, and the series episode count went from 52 to 43 episodes. On top of all that, Yoshikazu Yasuhiko, who served as the series' chief animation director, had to leave the show's production partway through when he was hospitalized for an inflammation of the lungs. However, things did turn around. Ironically, after the decision had been made to shorten the series, Gundam's ratings actually began to rise. Fan clubs started forming all around Japan, and popular anime magazine Animec published the news that Gundam was gonna end early. They were flooded with postcards demanding explanation. Gundam ended in January 1980, and its popularity grew further when it entered national syndication. And a month later, movie studio Shochiku greenlit a compilation film. Also in July, Bandai's first Gundam model kits were released to great success, setting off a gunpla boom that would last into the middle of the decade. You can also check out our video on the history of Gunpla's rise to fame.
Oh, so that's what they're called.
Yeah, Gunpla.
You know, I've been looking at that word float around. I'm like, what's a Gunpla? It's the model Gundam.
Yeah.
Click. Anyhow, Mobile Suit Gundam's movie compilation would ultimately be a trilogy of films, released in 1981 and 1982. These movies allowed Tomino to tighten up the Gundam saga, improve or outright remove bad animation, and tone down the more super robot elements that had been demanded by toy company sponsors. He was also able to better develop the concept of the new type, a kind of space-adapted person with psychic and empathetic abilities introduced late into the TV series. For Yoshikazu Yasuhiko, returning to Gundam meant being able to fix the drop in animation quality after he had to leave Gundam's production, with Gundam 3 in particular being roughly 70% new animation. In the years following Mobile Suit Gundam, Yoshiyuki Tomino worked almost constantly making new giant robot animes for Sunrise, directing Space Runway Irion, Blue Gale Zabongle, Aura Battler Dumbine, and Heavy Metal L.
Okay, so I heard about this one. Someone told me this was good. I've been seeing this name a lot though. Heavy Metal. Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay.
In my opinion, it's good.
Okay.
I don't know about the world.
Now, Space Runaway, someone told me about that, but I wasn't really that interested. Now, Aura Battler, I have not seen. I haven't. But I'm not used to these noises around me.
Game. Fun fact, the Blue Gale Zabungle has one of the hardest openings of all time. Anyhow, while these are all distinctive in their own right, none of them hit quite the way Gundam did. On Bandai's end, the Gunpla boom had been extended by the introduction of a new original Mobile Suit Variation models, or MSV. But without new Gundam anime to support them, interest was beginning to wane. And so, Tomino was approached to direct a sequel to Mobile Suit Gundam, this time with Bandai as a sponsor from the very start. While Yoshikazu Yasuhiko and Kunio Okawara would also return, much of the design work was handled by a new batch of talent that had grown up as part of the so-called Gundam generation. So, what is the result of that? Well, it's Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam, the first of what would become many Gundam sequels. Premiered in March of 1985 and set in UC 0087. Right there. Yup. Perfect, thank you. So once again, set in UC 0087, a lot of things have changed since the 1 Year War, a name given to the first major conflict between the Earth Federation and Zeon. To ensure there would be no more rebellions, the Earth Federation creates the Titans, an authoritarian military organization that will use extreme forces to stop anti-Federation activities. During a rebellion by the resistant group AEUG, which stands for Anti-Earth Union Group, a rebel teen boy named Camille Biden, aka Camille, gets caught up in the conflict and ends up helping the AEUG steal the new Titan Gundam Mark II Mobile Suit. Camille then joins up with the AEUG, fighting alongside returning characters like former White Base Captain Bright Noah and an incognito Charles Nabel aboard the battleship Argama. The conflict eventually escalates into all-out civil war, with things further complicated when a Zeon remnant organization called Axis Zeon aboard the asteroid base called Axis, they re-emerge to play both sides. A week after Zeta Gundam ended, it was immediately followed up by a direct sequel series, once again directed by Yoshiyuki Tomino, Mobile Suit Gundam Double Zeta. With Zeta played things fairly serious, Double Zeta couldn't have been more different. Much of the show is a lighthearted comedy. While Double Zeta did eventually start to take things a little bit more seriously once the stakes were raised, it must have been a complete tonal whiplash for people coming off the Zeta Gundam's extremely dark ending. The titular Double Zeta Gundam even goes all in on the combining gimmicks the original Gundam was saddled with. So what's the word this time? So timeline-wise, this one is right after Zeta Gundam, so it'll be UC 0087. So now the Titans have been defeated. Axis Zeon leader Haman Karn decides the birth of Neo Zeon using an 8-year-old Minerva Zabi, the last surviving member of the old Zeon's ruling family, as a figurehead to claim legitimacy. And since the AUG and Earth Federations are weakened, Haman sees an opportunity for the Neo-Zeon to conquer the Earth and its colonies. And while this is happening, the Argument docks at Shangri-La, a space colony for much needed repairs. There we meet a young whippersnapper named Judeo Ashita, who attempts to steal the transformable Zeta Gundams to sell for parts. Unlike Amuro and Camille before him, Judeo is actually a lousy pilot at first, but after repeated Gundam deaths and encounters with Neo-Zeon mobile suits, he starts to show some talent. With much of the Argument's crew in no shape to fight, Captain Bright Noah enlists Judeo and his scrappy friends as mobile suit pilots in the new war against Neo-Zeon. Double Zeta established a trope that would practically become a requirement in later Gundam series, which is the Gundam team. The Argument's complement of mobile suits included mostly holdovers from Zeta Gundam, the Gundam Mark II, Zeta Gundam, and the Golden Shakushiki, but adds the brand new Double Zeta Gundam.
Say that shit again. Golden Shakushiki?
Basically, it's supposed to be like a Gundam. It's a faster Gundam that can reflect beams.
Okay.
But to be exact, not heavy beams. There's a difference between beams.
Okay.
Into the mix. So that makes 3 Gundams along with a uniquely Gundam-y mobile suit. And the future series would often put that to shame. One character conspicuously absent from Gundam ZZ, despite popping up in its opening, was longtime fan favorite Char Aznavour. Actually, according to
How long does this motherfucker survive? The fuck? Golly!
Tomino's original outline for Zeta Gundam 2, after Char went missing in Zeta's finale, he would later have...
Sorry. And why the fuck does he look so smug? Why? How do you look more smug than you did before? How does that work?
reappeared among Haman's Neo-Zeon, eventually killing her and becoming Judeo's final antagonist. This didn't end up happening, but that's because at some point during Gundam ZZ's production, the film Char's Counterattack was greenlit. Char's Counterattack would be the Gundam franchise's first original movie and premiered in 1988. And Tomino sought to do nothing less than wrap up the Char/Amuro rivalry and the Federation/Zeon conflict along with it. So, time for the story breakdown. In UC 0093, 5 years have passed since the first Neo-Zeon War. And
okay, 5 years. So, all right. Okay, so would it make sense for me to, after watching this, like Mobile Suit Gundam, to then watch Char's Counterattack? Okay.
Char Aznavour has re-emerged as the charismatic leader of his own Neo-Zeon movement. After dropping the asteroid
I'm
Fifth
gonna have
Luna
to watch
to
the first 3 movies first. This is a lot of content, John.
the Federation government attempt to appease Char by giving him the former asteroid base Axis on the condition of his disarmament. Surprisingly, Char says "F*** y'all" and double-crosses the Federation and reveals his ultimate goal: create an environmental cataclysm by dropping Axis on Earth, forcing mass migrations into space and accelerating humanity's change into new types.
Nigga, why? Why? For what?
To make new types. No psychic pilots, so the only way you can do that is if you live up in space.
So drop a huge chunk of land, of space rock, and slam it on Earth? And that's supposed to trigger an event where a bunch of new types are created?
Yes, because if that thing slams on Earth, everybody has to migrate to
space. Bastard.
And the only thing standing in Char's way is the Federation's Londo Ball task force and his old rival, Amuro Ray, and his new type, specialized V Gundam. The theatrical run of Char's Counterattack also debuted what is technically the first non-Tomino Gundam anime. The cartoonish and parody SD, which stands for Super Deformed Gundam. SD Gundam shorts ran before screenings and featured Gundam characters and anthropomorphized.
Okay, that's not SD Gundam. is what I was talking about, but not this one. The other one I'm talking about specifically had like the 3D animation Gundams and shit.
Mobile suits with squished, cartoony proportions getting into mischief. SD Gundam had been extremely popular with children as a line of collectible gachapon capsule toys first released in 1985. And by 1987, it even had its own line of model kits called BB Senshi. By early 90s, SD Gundam's popularity even temporarily eclipsed that of the core franchise. In fact, this merchandising success story is likely why a localized form of SD Gundam was very nearly Gundam's first entry into the Western market, in the form of now infamous 1991 cartoon pilot Doozybots. While SD Gundam originally started as a parody of the Gundam series, it quickly turned in its own full-on franchise with many distinct universes. The SD Sengokuden setting recast the Gundams as samurais in the warring Sengoku period Japan. SD Gundam Gaiden follows the adventures of Knight Gundams in a Dragon Quest-influenced fantasy world. SD Command Senki features SD Gundams with a tactical military aesthetic. The SD Sangokuden setting puts Gundams in the role of legendary Chinese historical figures from the classical romance of the Three Kingdoms. And
what?
Yeah, there was been a lot of SD Gundam. Besides the one we saw when we were kids on Tsunami.
Wow.
I watched some of them, especially the one that was the Three Kingdoms. That was actually pretty good.
And those are just the most popular ones that have now gotten multiple anime adaptations. And that's not even mentioning the huge presence SD Gundam has among Gundam video games. SD Gundam continues to this very day alongside its parent franchise, with the new Sangokuden anime called SD Gundam World Sangoku Soketsuden, currently streaming on Crunchyroll.com. With Char's counterattack seemingly placed a firm endpoint on the Federation/Zeon conflict, the next Gundam anime jumped back to the Mobile Suit Gundam's one-year war period for the franchise's 10th anniversary in 1989. Entitled Mobile Suit Gundam 0080 War in the Pocket was the first original Gundam OVA and the first mainline Gundam anime without Yoshiyuki Tomino's involvement. A number of the staff on 0080 had previously worked together on Super Dimension Fortress Macross, including now first-time director Fumihiko Takayama, character designer Haruhiko Mikimoto, and writer Hiroyuki Yamaga. Yamaga had even previously pitched an MSV OVA to Bandai before any Gundam sequel had been made as part of Daikon Film, the future Studio Gainax.
Wait a minute, hold on. Just to make sure. Yep, I'm recording. Okay. Gotta make sure these things
spends more time with Zeon characters than previous shows, but most notably the perspective character is a young boy who is neither part of the Earth Federation or Zeon. From the start, Takayama was interested in telling a story about children using Gundam as a backdrop. Gundam 0080 takes place in December UC 0079, the last month of the one-year war. We see an 11-year-old boy named Ao Izuhara living his peaceful life on the neutral colony Side 6. Him and his school friends are enamored by military mobile suits and warfare. After the thrill of seeing an incursion by Zeon mobile suits to his home colony firsthand, Ao chases down a downed Zaku and meets a rookie Zeon pilot, Bernie Wiseman. Through his growing relationship with Bernie, Al gets drawn into the covert Zeon plot to destroy a Gundam secretly housed in the sanctuary, and sees firsthand that the war is much different than the romantic notions he once had. And he learns that war never changes. Yoshiyuki Tomino reunited with Kunio Okawara and Yoshikazu Yasuhiko for Mobile Suit Gundam F91. New theatrical film set 30 years after Char's counterattack, focusing on new generation of characters. Most of Gundam's F91 first year of production went ahead with the anime's format undecided, and so the team had to create options for both a theatrical film and a 13 episode for a TV series. The movie format was only decided upon when it became clear they would not be ready in time to deliver a TV series for April 1990. It's for this reason that Gundam F91 plays out kind of like a compilation film to a series that doesn't actually exist. So, here are the new generation of characters and story. Okay, so it's UC01234556.
Years are crazy, I know.
Well, he did. Okay, all right. Okay, to his credit, he did say 30 years after the first war, right?
Yeah.
He said 30 years afterwards. I did not expect that big number though. Oh wow.
Especially in order.
Yes. Oh, okay. All right. All right. Staying on topic. Staying on topic. I probably will most likely get a Gundam hoodie if I can find one. But yeah. Got you. So we're here. We're here. We're here.
Just kidding, it's UC0123.
Son of a bitch! Okay, that's more accurate. All right. Okay. Okay. We're here still. We're here still. We're here still.
A lot of humans. So much humans that the Earth Federation has built new space colonies to meet the growing numbers. Then, a private military group called Crossbone Vanguard conquers one of the colonies called Frontier IV. I think that's 4. I can't read Roman numerals. The Crossbones Vanguard leader, Matsurona, declares a new nation called Cosmo Babylonia.
Wait a minute. Before I say it. IV, Roman numerals. It is 4. It is 4. He was right. It's 4. It's 4. You were correct, sir.
During this conflict, two friends, Seabook Arno and Cecily Fairchild, end up on the opposite sides of the conflict when they were separated during their escape from the invasion. Cecily finds out her family history is a little complicated, to say the least, and Seabook makes it to the nearby Frontier 1 colony and comes across the Federation training ship Space Ark. There he finds the Mobile Suit Gundam F91, which we find out was developed by Seabook's mother. Seabook then joins a ragtag group of local resistance fighters and the Federation forces to free Frontier 4. I think that's 4. IV. Comment down below if I'm right or wrong. Gundam F91 is unfortunately known for being kind of a confusing watch, as it abruptly jumps around in time and location and leaves things off in an open-ended with the message, "This is only the beginning." Tomino never did make a direct continuation of the F91 story, though he did revisit the characters 10 years after in the events of the film in his 1994 manga, Crossbone Gundam. The Gundam franchise's next OV installment was Mobile Suit Gundam 0083 Stardust Memory, with its first episode being released about 2 months after Gundam F91's theatrical premiere. Gundam 0083 serves to fill in some of the gaps between the original Mobile Suit Gundam and Zeta Gundam, including the inciting events that led to the foundation of the Titans. The video series was directed by Mitsuhiko Kase and Takahashi Imanishi, with Imanishi going on to become one of the franchise's more prolific directors. So let's go back to the past real quick. The year is UC0083. Ace pilot Annabelle Gatto of the Zeon's Remnant Group DLS fleet steals a nuclear-armed Metal Gear. Gundam GP02A, one of the 2 new Gundams delivered for testing to the Federation's Torrington base down under Australia, mate. Yeah, cheers. In the base, Kon Uraki, one of Federation's newbie test pilots, fails to stop the hijacking using the remaining Gundam GP01, but becomes its assigned pilot aboard the warship Albion in the mission to recover the stolen Gundam GP02A. Metal Gear. Yoshiyuki Tomino returned to
say, if you don't say it, I'ma say it. Metal Gear.
Gundam once again with the franchise's first new TV series in 6 years. 1993's Mobile Suit Victory Gundam. Victory Gundam jumped ahead another 30 years into the UC chronology, telling the story of a new generation, fully removed from even the events of Gundam F91. Victory featured the youngest Gundam pilot yet, with series protagonist Uso being only 13 years old, and aired in a time slot typically only watched by young children. Despite this, Victory Gundam turned out to be one of the darkest series yet, and ratings were low. When the series came to DVD,
I don't understand this. I don't get this. Dark story, robot war, people dying. Why were the ratings so low? And you know what? My friend had talked to me like not many people fuck with Gundam. Why? I may not have watched a lot of the shows, but even I knew Gundam was a big deal. I knew Gundam was a big deal. Shoot, every time I went online on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, hell, even TikTok. I saw nothing but people displaying their Gunplas, talking about their Gunplas, saying that they're going to be building this, that, and third, and they didn't want to be disturbed because they will be investing their time in what they just bought. I don't understand. I don't get it.
10 years later, Tomino was notoriously quoted in the set's interview, "This DVD is unwatchable. Don't buy it." So, be sure to check it out, I guess, yeah. So, what's this unwatchable story all about? Well, in UC 0153, the theocratic Zanskar Empire from the Side 2 colonies has started its invasion of Earth and rules their colony with an iron fist. The Earth Federation, now long in decline, is too weak to fight back. With the invasion reaching Point Casarelia in Eastern Europe, a young civilian boy named Uso even gets drawn into the resistance movement called Ligue Militaire as a part of the Victory Gundam, one of the new mass-produced modular Gundams, to fight back the Zanskar Empire. F91 and Victory Gundam demonstrated that you didn't need a direct connection with the events of the original series to tell a Gundam story. After Victory Gundam, Universal Century works would largely be confined to the OVA format and take place throughout the established timeline rather than advancing it. New Gundam TV series going forward would instead take place in their own continuities, exploring the themes and tropes of the franchise, each in their own distinct ways. So, you know what that means. Get ready for a lot of separate timelines. No, this wasn't even a particularly new idea for Sunrise. When it previously looked like the production of Char's counterattack would effectively mark the end of the Gundam saga, their 1987 series Metal Armor Dragonar was an explicit attempt to do an updated take on the original Mobile Suit Gundam that could maybe even spawn a successor franchise. While Dragonar didn't quite hit like Gundam did, its remixed approach to Gundam tropes, like doing its own riff on the 1 Year War, complete with a Char-like enemy ace, would become common in the alternate universe Gundam series. It turns out if you want to do a riff on Gundam though, it's safer to just call it Gundam, if you ask me.
I was just getting ready to say, because I'd be confused as fuck if this is supposed to be somewhat related to Gundam and it's not called Gundam. I'd be very confused if someone didn't know that. As someone who wouldn't know that.
No one has asked me. That said, the first alternate universe Gundam series is still probably its most unique. Mobile Fighter G Gundam. Aside from being the first non-chibi alternate timeline series, G Gundam is a super robot anime, overflowing with Gundams of the week, and at first blush has more in common with Street Fighter than Mobile Suit Gundam. Even the way Gundams are controlled is dramatically different. Gone are the days of...
When I first saw that, when I was a kid, and I saw that shit went down on that, I was like, does this hurt him?
Compact suit. It's latex. Not latex. What is that? Is that the dominatrix people wear?
A gimp suit?
Kind of like that.
Hey, Urban Ninja. Urban Ninja. Urban Ninja. Ninjor. OG Gangster. Big man on campus.
He's busy.
Oh, he ignoring us. I'll just take it for what it is. So it's a very tight suit. But yeah, anyway, when I first saw that, I was like, is this thing being glued to his skin or something? Because like it looked like it did, but it looked hard as fuck doing it.
Damn. What y'all want?
Don't worry about it now.
What happened?
I was gonna ask you. Well, he was trying to describe what the transformation for G Gundam was. Because remember when that dude was, and the plastic came around him and it was being like tightened to his skin and it looked like it was hurting him?
No. What's it from?
G Gundam.
G Gundam.
Shining Finger. He's trying to pull it out of his memory banks.
The Shining Finger.
Or Burning
This
Finger.
was an old one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You still recording?
Yeah, I'm still recording.
Oh shit.
No, you're fine. I was just asking like what exactly would you call that material? Because like from the way it looked like it was pulling down around him and the shit was like very getting tight to his skin and he was like struggling to even withstand it.
Like a plastic polymer?
Yeah,
kinda?
something like that.
What would I call that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess a polymer. I'm not too well versed in Gundam either, but I would call like a plastic or rubber or something like that. Kind of like Rubber Soul from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, but I guess not to that extent. I guess never seen it since. So you know, but yeah, again, that's your guy. I don't.
All right.
Levers, joysticks, and fucking foot pedals, huh? Yeah, no, none of that. A Gundam in this world of the future century, which is the new timeline, it's called FC, it stands for future.
You fine? I was just asking. So this takes so Gundam G takes place in the future century. Okay.
Century operates by mimicking the movement and special techniques performed by a martial artist in its cockpit. So if you can imagine, it's like the Kinect. It's like Just Dance, except you're in the Kinect and you're controlling a giant Gundam. But it's just like Just Dance. Even the Gundam designs themselves are comical, to say the least. Let's bring that Bull Gundam back up again. Yeah, that one. Yeah, that's from G Gundam. Wacha. Director Yasuhiro Imagawa has since become known for epic, melodramatic, super robot revival anime. But he originally came on to direct a more typical space war Gundam show before the premise was changed to appeal more to children. Once that shift took place, however, Imagawa was able to draw from his copious knowledge of foreign film and television, especially Hong Kong martial arts cinema, to bring.
Well, given the situation of what I just said, talking about that would be my choice of Gundam. Like G Gundam.
You wouldn't want to be in a G Gundam?
No, I'm saying I would want to.
Okay.
I'm saying that would be my choice of Gundam.
Okay.
To pilot. Because I feel like that would suit me better than me being in a cockpit and I'm trying to get used to the controls because I'm not a new type.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Surprising depth and drama to G Gundam's globe-trotting story of an international Gundam fighting tournament. So let's start this alternate timeline off with FC, which as I said stands for Future Century. Now, G Gundam takes place in the year Future Century 60 during the 13th Gundam Fight, a year-long worldwide tournament held every 4 years to determine which country will govern the Earth. So, in this world, gone are the days of traditional wars. Gone. The Gundam fights has functionally replaced war between nations, with its battles instead being fought one-on-one, mano-a-mano, Gundam to Gundam between martial artists in unique, I guess we'll use the word unique Gundams representing the.
Is that a freaking water tower? Not a
windmill.
Windmill as a Gundam?
I think that's Don Quixote's Gundam.
Wow.
Oh, that's Windmill Gundam. I can't remember if it's Don Quixote's or Windmill Gundam.
How the hell does that work? Does the windmill? How does the windmill function?
The windmill still function because I think it's still a weapon.
Oh wow.
Perspective from a country. Bring that bull one back up again. Yeah. Love that one. Neo Japan's representative fighter, Domon Kashu, however, had more in his mind than just winning the tournament. As he battles across the earth, making allies along the way, he searches for a mysterious man in a photograph, the pilot of a biomechanical monster called the Devil Gundam. Dark Gundam in the English dub that threatens all.
Okay, so you were right. Devil Gundam.
In
Dark
Japan.
Gundam. In Japan. In Japan, the Devil Gundam. In America, the Dark Gundam.
Of humanity. So, the initial reception of G Gundam was okay. In Japan, it saw an average of 4.02% of viewers for the Kanto region and the greater Tokyo area, and fan reactions were split. Either you enjoyed the new bombastic fun take on the Gundam universe, or you hated everything about it because it wasn't the military real robot feel that the original Gundam so well known for. But it exists, and so does this Gundam.
I enjoyed it.
The
Low-key,
Gundam franchise.
Even though I don't remember much of the plot, I enjoyed it. All I knew was that the main character was in search of the dude that possessed the Dark Gundam. And he was adamant about that shit.
Return to its real robot space war roots in
Devil
the next
Gundam.
alternate universe series, new mobile report, Gundam Wing. Better known outside of Japan by its localized title, Mobile Suit Gundam Wing. So, Gundam Wing carried on G Gundam's 5 Gundam team, but more consciously played on elements of previous Universal Century series. The series proved very popular, and the attractive character designs in particular are credited with drawing in a strong women fan base. Director Masashi Ikeda and character designer Shuko Murase had previously worked together on 1988 Sunrise series Samurai Troopers, localized as Ronin Warriors, a series that, not too unlike Gundam Wing, was also popular with the ladies and featured 5 attractive Bishi teen boys that wore mystical armors to fight evil. Looks like a J-boy idol group in mecha armor. Okay, so anyhow, let's talk about this timeline real quick. So, this new alternate timeline will be AC, which stands for After Colony. So, Gundam Wing takes place in the year after Colony 195, where the Earth's orbiting space colonies have long been oppressed by the United Earth Spheres Alliance's Oz military organization. In retaliation, the colonies covertly send 5 Gundams to different locations on Earth to engage in a guerrilla war with Oz. Though the Gundam's pilots Hiro Yui, Duo Maxwell, Troa Barton, Quatre Winner, and Wu Fei Chang are initially unaware of each other and come into conflict. They soon unite in order to better complete their mission as Oz moved to take full control over the Alliance from within. Now, let's talk about that aforementioned US debut. Gundam Wing was, of course, the first Gundam anything to hit it big in the United States of America. While it wasn't the first Gundam anime to come out domestically, the Mobile Suit Gundam trilogy, Gundam 0080, and Gundam 0083 had previously been available by VHS exclusively via Bandai's Anime Village online store. It became first to air on American television when it premiered on March 6th, 2000 as part of Cartoon Network's now legendary weekday afternoon Toonami block, alongside anime classics like Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball Z. After its first week back on the air, Gundam Wing became its highest rated show on Toonami, and the #1 rated cartoon show on Cartoon Network overall with teens. And while the show ran on Toonami edited for content, viewers could also watch the series uncut late at night as part of the Toonami branded Midnight Run block, a first for the network. But Gundam Wing wasn't just on television either. There was a merchandise at the ready that kids could go to their local toy store and buy. And while there were plenty of action figures to be had, Bandai of America also released a localized gunpla called Action Figure Model Kits. For the first time, Gundam wasn't just limited to hobby stores and import shops. It was a push and level of success that Gundam had never seen before in the West, and arguably hasn't since. Gundam Wing was succeeded on Toonami by other Gundam anime, but they never seemed to hit quite as hard as Wing initially did. The next Gundam series takes it right back to the classical one-year war with its own take on the Gundam team trope. 1996's Mobile Suit Gundam, the 08th MS Team takes a ground-pounding
Yeah,
jungle
and then-
warfare
okay.
approach to mobile suit
So that goes
combat.
right
It brings a
along the
new
list
kind of
that-
depth
that,
to Gundam's real robot
told me.
military aesthetic. It also greatly increases the number of Gundams running around. During the original series' time period, the titular 08 team and other squads in their battalion are equipped with several RX-79G Gundam ground types, ostensibly
Okay.
assembled from parts left over from the MS development project that created Amuro Rei's RX-78-2 Gundam. The first
wow.
half of the 08 MS team was directed by veteran Sunrise director Takeyuki Kanda, who had previously directed the Real Robot series, Round Vernian VFAM in 1983, Metal Armored Dragonar in 1987, and the Armored Trooper Votom's side story OVA, Armor Hunter Mellowlink in 1988. After his sudden and unfortunate passing midway through production, he was succeeded by Umanosuke Iria, whose episodes feature a more stylized approach to combat. Now the timeline point is back to Universal Century. It's UC0079 again, and the 08 MS team occurs in the last month of the 1-year war. On the Southeast Asian front,
Oh, okay.
Shiro Amada is assigned to command the
So some of these take place during the main story, just on a different location.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm understanding all of this. Main event, side events that went along with it, like the after effects of the war.
Yeah.
On this side and that side. And then stuff taking place after, 30 years to some odd years after, where war was replaced with fighting,
Yep.
which is the dopest shit ever. I feel like our country needs to do that. We just need, forget the war. Fighting tournament. Let's see who's gonna run this bitch. All weapons included, except for guns, because that'd be just cheating at that point.
08 MS team. Fighting in the region is fierce, and the team soon encounters the Absolus, a powerful experimental mobile armor being developed at a Xeon base hidden somewhere in the region. Shiro must decide where his true loyalties lie when he discovers that the mobile armor's pilot is none other than Aina Saharan, a Xeon soldier that Shiro had developed feelings for after being stranded together in space. While Gundam Wing had taken the franchise back to its space war roots, the next alternate universe series played out almost like a what-if scenario of the original anime. After War Gundam X is a post-apocalyptic Gundam series, taking place years after its own stand-in for the one.
After War Gundam X.
Yep. They set up. I told you, like, it was a satellite that fell. That was it.
Apocalyptic Gundam series, taking place years after.
That's a big fucking satellite, John.
Yeah.
And one of these next to it. Are they all satellites?
Yeah.
Who's surviving this shit?
A few people.
How? The satellite is bigger than the buildings.
I know.
Like 10 times bigger. Oh, I know I'm dead.
It's
After its own stand-in for the one-year war, which ended in calamity. It is also
Everything
notably
is-
the only alternate universe series to
boom.
explicitly feature new types. Director Shinji Takamatsu was another Sunrise veteran who previously directed several entries in the Brave Super Robot franchise, and who before had taken on an uncredited position as the deputy director of Gundam Wing following the firing of Masashi Ikeda during production. Unfortunately, Gundam X, like the original series before it, suffered from low ratings, leading it to be cut down to 39 episodes and moved to a 6 a.m. death slot. So, Gundam X timeline-wise, it's in its own little timeline called the After War. More specifically, in the year after War 15. So called because 15 years earlier, there was a war. And so it's after war. It's after a war. Anyway, there was a war between the Earth and its rebellious space colonies, and it ended in a calamity that wiped out most of the Earth's population. When a scrappy young junk dealer named Garrett Rand is hired to rescue a girl named Tifa, he quickly realizes that he's been misled into taking her to those that would do her harm. Upon escaping, Tifa's new type abilities guide them to an old factory where they discover a powerful mobile suit from the war, the Gundam X. Together they join the scavenger crew of the land battleship Freedom, captained by the former wartime Gundam pilot Jamil Needy, who now views it as his mission to protect new types from exploitation. Meanwhile, rising remnants of the old powers from before the Cataclysm seek to once more assert dominance over the Earth and use new types to regain their former glory. After Gundam Wing ended, its enduring popularity created demand for a sequel. Produced at the same time as Gundam X, the 3-episode Gundam Wing Endless Waltz OVA marked the first series to continue the story of an alternate universe Gundam show. So for the sake of introducing new Gundams, mecha designer Hajime Katoki created new, stylized reinterpretations of Kunio Okawara's original Wing designs. In universe, however, these are not meant to be new, upgraded units, but actually the same Gundams viewers last saw at the series finale. So it's the same Gundam, but it looks different, but it's the same Gundam. It's like in Iron Man, where they replaced Terrence Howard with Don Cheadle. Same character, different people. Endless Waltz was later repackaged into a compilation movie with minimal changes and screened with the 08 MS Teen compilation film Miller's Report as Gundam the Movie. So now on to the story of Endless Waltz. Gundam Wing Endless Waltz takes place a year after the events of the TV series, and we go back to the timeline of After Colony. More specifically, After Colony 196.
Following the mass disarmament around the world and a commitment to pacifism, a military force called the Mary Mayer Army,
led by the illegitimate daughter of Oz's former leader, takes advantage of the new peace to attempt a takeover of the Earth's Sphere Unified Nations government. Having sent their Gundams on a course to the sun for disposal, the former Gundam pilots must recover them.
I'm sorry, what?
Sometimes it's dangerous to self-destruct a Gundam, so they decided to send it into the sun, melting, all that shit. Kind of hard to destroy a Gundam sometimes.
And that's not supposed to have any after effects at all.
Nope.
It's difficult for you to destroy something that was virtually supposed to be indestructible, and you want to take it to the sun, assuming that the sun is going to burn it.
Real good.
Their mobile suits and thwart the new faction's plot to return the world to peace. So, for the franchise's 20th anniversary, Yoshiyuki Tomino returned with a new TV series that was perhaps his most unique Gundam since the original. Turn A Gundam. Now, where does this one fit into this insane timeline universe? Well, this.
That's the one that y'all was telling me not to watch.
It technically doesn't really fit because it's like because of what the Gundam can do.
And it partially wouldn't make sense, and partially doesn't even make sense to me because you want to make universal peace. So you do that by thinking that destroying the Gundams will create that peace. And the very thing that you're trying to do is to destroy mechs that are biogenetically impossible to destroy. So you use a lot of government money to take it up to the sun in hopes that it'll either melt it, like Master Zen said, or incinerate it. That don't make sense to me. It just don't.
This technically isn't in the Universal Century timeline. No sirree, this isn't in the Future Century. Nope. Or the After Colony or the After War, and obviously not in the SD timeline. No, this one decides to say, f it and mix 4 timelines into one.
That's right, Turn A Gundam attempted to bridge the gaps of the Gundam metaverse and call this timeline the correct century.
It's not though. Don't calm down. It's not really, so calm down.
Let me tell you something. I was on board with everything he said up until now. I was on board with it. Future colony, sure. After war, makes sense to me. Main story. I'm on board with you, my friend. That shit, no. That's a no. That's a no. When you try to, like you just said, they try to do the whole Marvel shit, including all in the one. When you try to do that shit, there's a lot of gaps that you leave open. A lot of gaps. And I'm not dissing this dude. Honestly, this dude is doing me a good service by explaining all this shit. Yeah, this shouldn't have happened.
Please, editor, insert the brain-expanding meme right here at this point. And while technically Turn A Gundam is a post-apocalyptic Gundam show like Gundam X before it, it takes place thousands of years after its story's cataclysm, to where mankind has returned to a level of technology comparable to the industrialized world of the early 20th century. Alongside Tomino, Turn A boasted a staff of creative all-stars to give its unique look and tone. The series featured unconventional mecha design unlike anything the franchise had seen before, from American visual futurist Sid Mead, who had previously done design works on movies like Blade Runner, Tron, and curiously enough, a cancelled 1983 American Gundam adaptation.
What?
Yeah. I was shocked when I heard that too.
What? A cancel? I don't know whether that's a blessing or a bad thing.
You think about it, if you look at the two other shows they have,
And the director, honestly, I've heard good things about Blade Runner. People like Blade Runner. A lot of people like Tron.
Yeah.
I don't know how to feel about this. If both of those movies were good, this may have that may have been a good that may have turned out good. It might have.
Yeah.
Not saying it would have. I'm saying it might have, considering the track record of this dude. Because I've heard nothing but good things about Tron and Blade Runner. Okay.
Akira Yasuda, known for his design work for Capcom on games like Street Fighter II, provided the character designs, taking inspiration from Victorian-era clothing and the musical Elizabeth, about a 19th century Austrian empress. The show's eclectic score comes from acclaimed composer Yoko Kanno, who had previously just worked with Tomino on his series Brain-Powered and created the classic soundtrack for Cowboy Bebop. So, in correct century 2345, Lauren Seahack is a member of the Moon Race, descendant of the moon colonists that left Earth thousands of years ago, who had been deployed to Earth as part of an advanced scout party to prepare his people for returning to their ancestral home. Having happily assimilated into life on Earth over 2 years, Lauren is shocked when the Moon Race's homecoming takes the form of an invasion. During a Moon Race mobile suit attack on his village, Lauren discovers that the giant white doll statue used in the locals' coming-of-age ceremonies is actually an ancient mobile suit, the Turn A Gundam, which he then uses to fight off the attack. Lauren...
It looks ugly.
Should see where the comic is.
It looks ugly. I hold on. Wait a minute. Just wait a damn minute.
Used in the locals' coming-of-age ceremony.
How the hell you go from this
is actually
to looking
an
like
ancient
that
mobile suit,
with a mustache?
the Turn
A mustache Gundam? Yeah, no.
Look where the cockpit is.
A Gundam, which he then uses to...
It's on the junk?
Yep.
Trash. Trash. I'm sorry. It's trash.
to fight off the attack. Lauren and the Turn A get swept up into the local Iglesia militia, which excavates more mobile suits in order to stand a chance against the moon race's advanced technology. As tensions escalate on both sides, Loran strives for a peace between his own people and those of his newly adopted home. So, the Gundam franchise entered its new millennium in 2002 with Mobile Suit Gundam Seed, a series intended as a reimagining of the original
Gundam
Mobile
Seed.
Suit Gundam for a new era. Gundam Seed's combination of classic
I've heard
Gundam
nothing but
story
good things
beats,
about Seed.
interpersonal relationships in the style of popular live-action dramas, and incorporation of emerging concerns like genetic manipulation proved very popular and ushered in a new generation of fans. The architect of this new branch of the Gundam saga were the husband and wife creative team of director Mitsuo Fukada and writer Chiaki Murasawa. And we can't just have a reimagining just be the same old timeline. No, we need another timeline, of course. This time, we have the Cosmic Era. So, in the year Cosmic Era 70, escalating tensions between the genetically enhanced citizen of the plants, known as coordinators, and the unmodified naturals of the Earth Alliance boils over into all-out war after the Alliance, just nukes the agricultural plant Junius 7. While the Alliance's resources far outweigh those of the plants, the development of a complex new coordinator use weapons called mobile suits and anti-nuclear end jammer technology by the plant's Zaft military allows them to take large regions of the Earth and fight the war to a standstill. 11 months into the war in CE 71, the Alliance has secretly developed a series of 5 prototype mobile suits for naturals called Gundams at the neutral space colony of Heliopolis. When a Zaft Special Force team attacks the production facilities and takes 4 of the Gundams, a civilian coordinator and resident of the colony named Kira Yamato reprograms and take control of the 5th
Gundam.
prototype, the Strike Gundam, to defend himself. While the colony disintegrates into battle, Kira and his friends become refugees and crew members aboard the new Alliance battleship Archangel. As the Strike Gundam's pilot, Kira must now fight to protect his friends for a side that fears and distrusts him against his fellow coordinators. To make matters worse, among Zaft's Gundam pilots is his close childhood friend Asran Zala, the two now reunited on the battlefield as enemies. Now, moving on, Gundam 0083 director Takashi Imanishi returned to the Universal Century once again with MS Igloo, a 3D CG anthology series to play at the Bandai Museum in Matsudo in the summer of 2004. Now, this was a unique in style from any previous series, embracing a photorealistic look and centering around Xeon engineers and test pilots with scarcely any sight of a Gundam. The first 3 episodes of MS Igloo made for the museum is called The Hidden One-Year War. Each depicted Xeon's 603rd Technical Evaluation Division's experience with a new oddball mobile weapon, and its invariably doomed test pilot. An additional 3 follow-up episodes were released to a more traditional OVA format as Apocalypse 0079, and told a more serialized story of the 603rd in the last days of the war. With the success of Gundam Seed, Sunrise was eager to build the Cosmic Era into a new lane of the franchise to rival the Universal Century. Seed became the first alternate universe Gundam to receive a full sequel TV series in 2004 with Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Destiny. Fukada and Murasawa returned to continue the story and were joined by much of the same staff and cast from the previous show. So, back to the CE time.
Freedom Gundam?
Timeline. So in CE 73, 2 years after the events of Gundam Seed, the Earth Alliance and plants are currently at peace. A teenage soldier named Shin Asuka, who enlists in the Zaft after the death of his family in the last war, is the designated pilot of the Impulse Gundam aboard the battleship Minerva. When the members of the Alliance Special Forces unit Phantom Pain steal Zaft's 3 newest Gundams, the Minerva pursues to recover them. Their mission is interrupted, however, when a rogue Zaft force drops the remains of the dead colony Junius 7 to Earth, triggering.
Why is everybody dropping shit on Earth? Why?
Makes a good quick weapon.
But
Got nothing else? Drop the satellite. I got no ammo. Drop the satellite. Drop the dead satellite.
we don't have satellites, sir. Drop the meteorite. But it's huge as shit. Drop
It
it.
anyway.
Huge military weapon. What do we do with it, sir? Drop it on Earth. But sir, everyone will die. Don't care. Drop it on there. Holy shit.
A new war
Earth
between
is
the
taking a
Alliance
pounding.
and plants. It's really funny because the word plants make me think of that terrible M. Night Shyamalan movie, The Happening. The trees are killing people. 2006 saw a third series set in the Cosmic Era continuity. The Seed Destiny side story, Gundam Seed CE-73 Stargazer. This was Gundam's first ONA series and premiered in 3 parts on the Bandai Channel website. Stargazer was the first Seed series not made by Fukada Morisawa and instead directed by Susumu Nishizawa, who had previously worked as storyboard artist for the majority of Seed Destiny's episodes. The short series depicts the world in turmoil in the immediate aftermath of the Junis 7 drop in Seed Destiny, as Phantom Pain team led by a natural boy named Sven Kalbayang performs a mop-up operation around the world. Coordinator scientist Celine McGriff works in the development of a revolutionary new mobile suit designed for space exploration, the Stargazer Gundam. Their path inevitably crosses when Sven's team is tasked with capturing the Stargazer to use its advanced new technologies for military applications. So, despite how gung-ho Sunrise seemed to be about developing the new cosmic era into the setting to rival the Universal Century, Stargazer turned out to be his final original animated entry. A Seed movie from Fukada and Morisawa was announced in 2006, but the project fell into limbo after Morisawa fell ill. After her unfortunate passing in 2016, the hope of Seed finally getting a sequel movie seemed lost. However, in recent comments from TM Revolution, artist of much of Seed's most popular music, seem to indicate that there is once again some movement at Sunrise on the project. With the Cosmic Era approaching its own 20-year anniversary in 2022, it could be time for a revival. Who knows? So, the next alternate universe series once more tried to reinvent Gundam for the modern world. Directed by Seiji Mizushima of the Full Metal Alchemist fame, 2007's Gundam 00 eschewed the franchise's
Gundam 00. Okay, I'm liking this so far. So Gundam 00, you told me about. So that's good. Gundam Seed, yes. Gundam Wing, yes.
G Gundam.
G Gundam, yes. MS Team, yes.
Yeah. 8 MS.
A MS Team.
8.
Oh, 8 MS Team. Turn A, no. Okay, all right. I'm invested. I'm honestly invested. Honestly.
typical Earth versus space conflict, attempting instead to depict a more fragmented political landscape informed by recent events like global terrorism and the Iraq War. To underscore its real-world influence, 00 was the first Gundam series to not use a fictional sci-fi calendar, instead adopting our timeline. That's right, the classical AD, aka the Anno Domini calendar system. Wow. So, Kunio Okawara, having now been involved with nearly every Gundam production since F91, took a backseat to a new generation of mecha designers that would create the mechanical aesthetic of the world's different factions, and to go on to define the look of Gundam for the next decade. So, for the story in the year 2307 AD, the energy crisis has seemingly been solved by an orbital system of solar energy collectors. However, this system is only accessible at one of 3 orbital elevators, each controlled by one of the world's superpower blocks: the Union, the AEU, and the Human Reform League. With smaller countries left behind, especially those previously supported by fossil fuels, military conflicts are common around the world. After using its unique, phenomenally advanced Gundam mobile suit to disrupt the demonstration of a new AEU mobile suit and foil a terrorist attack in orbit, the mysterious private military organization Celestial Being revealed itself to the world. Its stated goal: to eradicate war by force. Celestial Being's arsenal consists entirely of just
4 Gundams, though they are generations more advanced than any other weapon. Among their pilots, called Gundam Meisters, is a teenage boy named Setsuna F. Seiei, who was saved by one of the Celestial Being's first-generation Gundams during his time as a child soldier and views them as symbols of salvation. True to their mission, Celestial Beings indiscriminately intervenes and combats around the globe, effectively making an enemy of the entire world and becoming the world peacekeepers. Kinda. So, director Takashi Imanishi returned once more in 2008 with a new 3-episode MS Igloo sequel, MS Igloo 2: The Gravity Front. MS Igloo 2 features no returning characters from the previous series, instead of serving as an anthology series that focuses on unrelated, though still invariably doomed, Federation soldiers. Each scenario takes place on Earth at a point in the 1-year war before the Federation was able to effectively mass-produce mobile suits, with none of the episode's protagonists fortunate enough to pilot anything close to a Gundam.
Okay, alright, so before they even thought about making mobile suits, that's where this started.
Yeah.
Again, I understand all of this now. All of this now. Still, fuck you, Ternay.
Appropriately enough, the only reoccurring character that links the episodes together is a distinctly Xeon-flavored apparition of death. After a decade where the face of Gundam was Gundam Seed and the Cosmic Era, with the only new Universal Century Gundam anime being limited to the installments of MS Igloo, Sunrise returned to Gundam's original continuity in 2010 with the high-profile OVA adaptation of Harutoshi Fukui's Mobile Suit Gundam Unicorn novels. Fukui's original 2006 novel series had veteran Gundam staff involved from the beginning, with character designer Yoshikazu Yasuhiko and mecha designer Hajime Katoki on board, and even received a special Sunrise animated promotional video narrated by Suichi Ikeda, the voice of Char Aznable. Though this would be the first Gundam adapted from existing work, Sunrise had actually, and not too surprisingly considering the staff, considered Gundam Unicorn anime material since the very beginning. And in a first for the franchise, episodes of Unicorn received a physical release that could be sold day one to international fans as well as the ones at home, complete with subtitles in 5 languages and an English dub. This has become the norm for Gundam's new OVA releases since then. So, Gundam Unicorn tells the story of a new generation of characters, too young to have seen the 1-year war, but old enough to have been affected by its aftermath. Back to the Universal Century in UC0096, 3 years after the events of Char's counterattack, Cardia's Vist, one of the powerful Vist Foundation, decides to meet with representatives of the Neo-Zeon Remnant Group, the Sleeves, to hand over Laplace's box, a secret which the Foundation has long held as a leverage over the Earth Federation. On the Colony Industrial 7, engineering student Banagir Lynx saves a girl named Audrey Byrne from a fall and agrees to show her where the Foundation's mansion is rumored to be. Audrey is actually an influential member of the Sleeves and wants to meet with Vist early and avoid war by presenting the box from falling into the hands of Sleeves leader Full Frontal, a man called the Second Coming.
Okay, alright, okay. What is with these fucking masks? Why do they all have these Phantom of the Opera masks? What's with that, dude? Like, I forgave it. I looked over it when I was watching Mobile Suit. I looked over it. I looked over in some of these. Is that just a recurring thing with these motherfuckers? Is just to have this white Phantom of the Opera face mask?
Yes.
Can they even see in them bitches?
Yes, they got eye hole.
Look, listen. I done learned from Kamen Riders because they got eye hole doesn't mean they can see through that shit.
They can see.
All right.
Of Char Aznable. Federation forces, having been tipped off about the meeting, attack the colony with mobile suits and commandos, causing widespread collateral damage. As Banagi tries to find Audrey in the chaos, he finds himself in the hangar of the Vist Foundation's Unicorn Gundam and is entrusted with it by Cardia's Vist. In becoming the Unicorn's pilot, Bagaji has received the key to Laplace's box, thrusting him directly into the middle of a new conflict between the Earth Federation and Neo-Zeon. A fun fact, the distinct transformation transforming Unicorn Gundam design has since gone on to be used by Bandai as a mascot of sorts for modern Gundam. It even replaced the famous life-size RX-78 Gundam in a
How the fuck did y'all make that, Japan? I'm sorry, this is just going off kilter.
Oh yeah,
How did they make that shit?
Didn't you ever seen that? They had like multiple versions of those.
I did, and I understood that. I think just recently they replaced it with a new one.
Yeah, they replaced it with Unicorn.
And isn't it much bigger than this one currently?
Yeah.
How the fuck did y'all miss? See, this is why people are scared of Japan, because how the hell did you manage to make such an accurate looking robot and not make it mobile? Because I have a feeling
It can move. They can put it in different positions. Yeah, because I think they had it in the whole the famous pose when Gundam pointed up and shot. I think that was the last episode in Gundam.
I mean, as far as like, saying showing go in the cockpit and make it do that. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I mean.
I think they did do that with the biggest one they made.
Jonathan, you're scaring me.
I don't mean to try to scare you, but I'm trying to tell you the information that's in my head.
Okay.
Like I think in 2020 they had erected that type of model,
Right.
the biggest one, and they could move, and I think they took it down last year.
Wow.
We can look it up after this.
I don't have a problem with looking it up. I'm just saying that is a very impressive yet scary thing. Very scary thing, because if y'all can make these mechs,
Yeah.
what else can y'all do?
They can do a lot if they put their mind to it.
Aiba Japan in the fall of 2017 with a life-size Unicorn Gundam that would actually transform from the all-white Unicorn mode to the more recognizably Gundam-faced Destroy mode, now taking over its place. RIP to the old RX-78. Fun fact, I'm gonna pull up again. I showed it before in another video, but here's me standing in front of the RX-78.
That is big.
Good times. Created for the 30th anniversary of Gundam plastic models, the Mobile Suit Gunpla Builder's Beginning G depicts a version of the present world in which kids build Gunpla and use them to battle each other.
Yeah. I've been listening to the opening of that. That opening goes hard. Oh my god, that opening goes hard. Yes. That opening goes so hard. I love that opening.
In a simulation. While this may have been the first Gundam anime, this concept originated in the 1982 Gunpla-centric manga Plamo Kyoshido, with Gunpla builders even lifting a gag or two from its predecessor. The three-part series was directed by Ko Matsuo, who had previously directed a prequel short for the PS3 game Mobile Suit Gundam Battlefield Record UC-008.
And I can't play that shit, can I?
Yeah, I think that's a Japanese release.
Fuck.
Unless you can find it in a region and they have it.
And it's region locked, and they region locked and shit.
Yeah.
8-1, and written by Yusuke Kuroda, the writer of Gundam 00. So, timeline-wise, this is actually back in the good old-fashioned of our very own AD timeline. But this time, this is based in the Builders 80 timeline, which I guess I'll get to that in a little bit. So, based either in 2009 or 2010 AD, Gunpla Builders tells the story of Haru Ire, who stumbles across a unique Gunpla when visiting the merch tent at the life-size RX-78 Gundam in its original Shiokaze Park location. He develops his skill in building and battling Gundam and getting closer to his friends along the way. So, Gundam 00 also returned in 2010 with a theatrical finale. Mobile Suit Gundam 00, the movie, Awakening of the Trailblazer. The Gundam 00 movie would be the franchise's first original movie since Gundam F91 nearly 20 years earlier. But perhaps even more notably, it was the first Gundam anime to feature invading space aliens.
What the fuck is that?
A space alien that invaded. It was in the movie. It was a good movie too. Showed Gundam Double Gundam Quantum. They called it.
Holy shit.
Aliens. But this being Gundam, they're not gonna portray aliens in a cliched way. See, the alien threat in this world, known as the ELS, was a hive-minded swarm of shape-shifting living metal.
Huh?
Wonder what kind of battles will happen in this world. So we continue this strange RAD timeline. Seriously, we go from a peaceful building Gunpla 2010 to 2009 to full-on war with humans in the year 2300-ish, and then we have a war with aliens. Wow. We all are living in a Gundam society. Anyways, in 2314 AD, 2 years after the end of Gundam 00, humanity is united under the Earth Sphere Federation, and celestial beings have returned to the shadows. After debris from a returning derelict ship crashes to Earth, a series of strange incidents culminate in the arrival of the ELS, an alien life form that attacks and assimilates all it encounters. With all of humanity
Holy
at stake,
shit.
celestial beings must fight alongside the Earth's combined forces to defend the planet, as Setsuna attempts to make meaningful contact with the ELS hive intelligence using his new Gundam 00 Quan T close bracket. With Gundam's primary audience aging, the next alternate universe series, 2001's aptly titled Mobile Suit Gundam Age, sought to create a new generation of fans by targeting
You know something, Google Assist? You got 3 seconds.
younger viewers. The idea for Gundam Age came from Akihiro Hino, the president of video game developer Level 5. Bandai Namco Games had met with him in order to create Gundam games, but Hino expressed his desire to instead to be involved with the development of a new
Mobile Suit
anime.
Gundam
He proposed his
Age.
story to Sunrise and became head writer on the
good?
next project. Age presented a novel concept, portraying a 100-year conflict that crossed multiple generations over the course of one show. Okay, so when you thought there couldn't be any more timelines, we had another one. We had another one in this mix, and this one is called AG, which stands for Advanced Generation. So, in the year Advanced Generation 115, 7 years have passed since the first appearance of a mysterious, hostile force only known as the UE, stands for Unknown Enemy. A 14-year-old prodigy, Flit Asuno, who has lost his mother in that initial attack, has spent the time since preparing for UE's return in the development of the Mobile Suit Gundam Age 1, modeled after a legendary savior that ended the past war. When the UE attacks once again and destroys Flit's home colony, Flit becomes his creation's pilot as part of the crew of the Earth Federation battleship Diva. The conflict with the UE goes on to span generations, eventually drawing Flit's son Asemu and grandson Kyo into the war as Gundam pilots themselves. After Gundam Age largely failed to connect with kids and existing Gundam fans alike, Gundam's approach to reaching younger viewers shifted gears with a series that would become a spin-off franchise in its own right. 2013's Gundam Build Fighters. So, this was the return to the Gunpla battling concept previously seen in Gunpla Builders a few years earlier, but this time as a full 26-episode TV series. The series was directed by future My Hero Academia director Kenji Nagasaki, and writer Yusuke Kuroda returned to tell a new Gunpla story. So, what is the story? Well, Gundam Build Fighters takes place in the near future, but let me get a little wacky here because Gundam Build Fighters isn't considered to be in the same universe as Mobile Suit Gunpla Builders Beginning G. But it does seem to be set in our world, so I think there might be 2 AD timelines. So that we have AD with the Gunpla Builders that turned into war and space battle with aliens, and then the Builders AD timeline where the Gundam Build series takes place.
Now you could be saying just add Gunpla Builders G into the Builders timeline, but that just would make it less fun, you know? It'd be less funny. Anyway, back to the story of Gundam Build Fighters. After a new Gunpla boom has taken the world by storm, with the advent of a technology that allows builders to animate and control their models, Gunpla battle has become an international sport. The young Sei Iori is a talented builder who dreams of becoming a champion, but his lack of actual skills at Gunpla battle stands in the way of that ambition.
Was it this anime that had the nice anime opening that I love so much, or was it this one? Either way, I'ma watch it.
Yeah, you did.
Either way.
When I showed you did like.
Yeah.
Mysterious boy named Reiji, who, despite being clueless about Gundam in general, is natural at battling. Coming together as builder and fighter, they set out to show the world of Gunpla battle what they're made of. So, Gundam Build Fighters' combination of a straightforward tournament battling sports show formula with a enthusiastic reverence for Gundam as a franchise resonated with kids and veteran fans alike. It was followed by a sequel series in 2014 called the Gundam Build Fighters Try, which takes place 7 years later and focused on a new group of kids. The Build Fighters world continued throughout specials and shorts and eventually got a spiritual successor in the 2018 series Gundam Build Divers. Build Divers transported the battling Gunpla concept into an MMO game called Gunpla Nexus and incorporated some elements of isekai. Gundam Builder Divers in turn got its own sequel series, Gundam Build Divers Re-Rise, which will enter its second season in the spring. The godfather of Gundam, Yoshiyuki Tomino, returned to Gundam once again with 2014's Gundam Reconguista in G, or G-Reco for short. A series set so far in the future of the Universal Century that the calendar system has changed. That's right, even the trusty old Universal Century has morphed into a new timeline called the Reguild Century. God, Gundam, I love you. Like with previous series, Tomino sought to reach a new generation, but his intentions were a bit more ambitious than just making new Gundam fans. Tomino was quoted as saying that he wanted to plant a seed in the minds of children so they would act on the mounting societal and environmental problems of the future. Goddamn. Take it away, Tomino. So, G-Reco takes place in Reguild Century 1014, marking the number of years past the disastrous end of the previous Universal Century era. Humanity is currently at peace, and the world's energy is supplied by photon batteries that come down from a sacred orbital elevator called the Capitol Tower. Young Bellry Zenom is a cadet in the Capitol Guard, which defends the Capitol Tower. After fending off an attack by space pirates, Bellry finds he's one of the few able to control the pirates' high-performance G-Self mobile suit. When the G-Self is recaptured by the spaceship Megafauna, Bellry joins with them against the forces of the hawkish Capital Army. Now, after the series ended, Tomino expressed that he felt G-Reco had missed his mark, admitting to the story being written in a way that was hard to follow, and feeling that the action scenes ultimately distracted from his core message. Also, the show's general unpopularity meant that it likely didn't reach the people he was trying to reach for. G-Reco is currently getting its second chance, however, with the recent release of Go, Core Fighter, the first in a series of 5 planned G-Reco compilation films. After the success of Gundam Unicorn, though, the norm for new Universal Century Gundam anime going forward became adaptations of existing source material, with 2015's Mobile Suit Gundam The Origin OVA adapting a portion of Yoshikazu Yasuhiko's acclaimed manga of the same name. Long absent from the anime industry, the author himself served as chief director. Not long after his work on Gundam F91, Yasuhiko had put anime behind him, focusing instead on manga. In 2000, he accepted an offer to create a new manga adaptation of Mobile Suit Gundam, which became Gundam The Origin. The Origin was a refined version of the original Gundam story with the advantage of 20 years of hindsight. And Yasuhiko brought an approach informed by his copious experience doing historical manga to deepen the material. About 5 years in, Yasuhiko became fascinated with the idea of Gundam's pre-story, and the manga entered a prequel arc that began at Char Aznavour's childhood and ultimately led right up to the moments before the story of the original Mobile Suit Gundam. Gundam the
Well, I'll be goddamn. There's a lot of specials concerning Char. Should I stop now or should I just keep going?
You might as well keep going. You almost at the end.
Origin spanned a full quarter of the manga's 10-year run, starting off in
I'm going to.
UC0068
I'm
with
going
the
to.
birth of the Principality of Zeon, Shard's childhood in hiding, and
The thing
eventually
about this is
entry
he didn't
into
really,
Zeon's military, the
give
Mobile
much-
Suit's
too much
development,
away,
arm
just
race, and
made
the
me understand
legendary
that this
battle
guy
of
Char is a
Luna, where
motherfucker.
Char first made a name for himself. Depicting events never seen before in animation, this served as a basis for the Gundam The Origin anime, with the adaptation being fairly faithful to the manga. There are, of course, elements that don't quite line up with the events of the original anime, but it's
fine.
worth keeping in
That's
mind
fine.
that Mobile Suit Gundam is a series that had two different versions of events from the beginning. So, what's one more? The same year that the Origin OVA started brought us the franchise's most recent alternate universe series, Mobile Suit Gundam Iron Blooded Orphans. IBO was the latest in the
Now you told me about that.
And it also has one of my favorite Gundams, which is Barbatos. The anime was really good to me.
Cause I was listening to everything. I was like, there's a Gundam series missing that that Masters End told me about, and everyone that I knew that was talking about that. Well, from online, they were saying that this was like one of the most fucked up stories.
It is.
So yeah.
a long line of collaborations between director Tatsuyuki Nagai and writer Mari Okada, though it was their first time doing a mecha anime together. The series was distinctive in several ways. The idea of the young Gundam pilot was taken to its extreme, with the main cast primarily made up of previously exploited child soldiers who were orphans. It was the first Gundam anime to begin on another planet, Mars. Combat also featured almost no beam weaponry, a staple of the franchise, as Nagai wanted to depict mobile suit combat like brutal medieval warfare. Also,
Holy
who can
shit!
forget another timeline? The final alternate Gundam timeline, for now, it's called the PD timeline, aka
PD timeline.
post-disaster timeline.
Post-disaster.
So, in the year post-disaster 323, Earth's economic blocks around the military organization Gjallarhorn wields control over a terraformed Mars. Cadelia Ina Bernstein, a charismatic activist leader within the Martian independence movement, contracts the service of Price Guard security to escort her on a
All right. Just let me know.
Earth. When tipped off, Gjallarhorn forces attack the CGS base with mobile suits. The CGS mercenaries leave the company's child soldiers to die, covering their escape. The boys are rallied by their leader, Orga Itsuka, and they win the day when Orga's childhood friend, Mikazuki, fights back in the Gundam Barbatos, a 300-year-old relic of the Calamity War previously used as the base's generator. Declaring themselves as the Tekadon, Orga and his comrades accepts the Cadelia's contract in CGS's place and sets out on their most dangerous journey to Earth. Anyhow, Gundam returned to the 1-year war period once again with the second UC manga adaptation in a year, Mobile Suit Gundam Thunderbolt, based on Yasuo Otagaki's ongoing seinen manga. Otagaki was known for his work on pulpy, hard sci-fi
Now I also heard about Thunderbolts. People were saying Thunderbolt is also good.
manga like Moonlight Mile, and he brought that same gritty energy to his Gundam manga, set in an unforgiving, obscure battlefield in the waning days of the 1-year war. The adaptation was directed by Kuo Matsuo, in a dramatic departure from his last work on Gundam with Gunpla Builders. A unique component of Thunderbolt that sets it apart from the other Gundams was how its two rival main characters are defined by their clashing taste in music. This was heightened in the anime by the composition of longtime jazz musician Naruyoshi Kikuchi, whose previous work in anime included playing in Yoko Kanno's band, The Seatbelts, and as the voice of Mid-Valley, the Horn Freak Sax in Trigun. Initially distributed as an ONA through Bandai Namco's Gundam Fan Club app, and later received 2 compilation movies, December Sky and Bandit Flower. So, now to the story. In the last weeks of the 1-year war in UC 0079, forces of the Earth Federation's War Brotherhood and Zeon's Living Dead Division fight an ongoing battle for the control of the Thunderbolt sector, a debris-filled shoal zone in the site of the destroyed Side 4 colony.
After repeated encounters in battle, Federation pilot Yo Fleming and Zeon pilot Daryl Lorenez become fixated upon each other.
The two become embroiled in a fight to the death after each becomes the pilot of a super powerful new mobile suit. Yo in a full armor Gundam and Daryl in the experimental Psycho Zaku. Psycho Mantis. In April 2018, Sunrise announced UC's Next 0100, an initiative to create a new Gundam media that takes place after the events of Gundam Unicorn into the scarcely explored second century of UC. The first of these was Mobile Suit Gundam Narrative, a brand new film that would act as a sequel to the events of Unicorn. Narrative featured an original screenplay by Unicorn author Harutoshi Fukui, particularly based on his side story novella Phoenix Hunt, about an operation to capture the rogue Golden Unicorn Gundam Unit 3, Phoenix. Gundam Narrative expands the original work by introducing new characters and mobile suits, with nods to other ancillary material that Fukui had written for Unicorn. So, the story is in UC0097, the mysterious Unicorn Gundam Phoenix has reappeared after going berserk and vanishing 2 years earlier. Seeking to harness the power of the Unicorn, the corporation Luio & Co. joins the Federation's Phoenix Hunt capture operation and provides their own narrative Gundam mobile suit to assist. The Phoenix reappearance is personal for executive Michelle Luio and narrative pilot Jonah Basta, as his last known pilot was their childhood friend Rita. So, the next final entry in the UC Next 0100 project brings us to the present with Mobile Suit Gundam Hathaway, an upcoming 3-part film adaptation of Yoshiyuki Tomino's 1989 Gundam Hathaway's flash novels. The Hathaway of the title is protagonist Hathaway Noah, the son of Bright Noah, who had previously appeared in Char's Counterattack in a supporting role. Despite having written the original novel, Tomino is not involved in the adaptation, though he has given it his blessing. Instead, the films will be directed by Shuko Murase, previously the character designer on Gundam Wing, with animator credits from Gundam F91 through Unicorn. It's unknown how much will potentially change in adaptation, but the source novel tells the story of an adult Hathaway Noah in UC0105. Haunted by the traumas of the last Neo-Zeon War, now the leader of an anti-Federation terrorist organization called Mafti Nav Aaron appears.
Another fun fact, I was totally gonna have a good old-fashioned whiteboard on the side, like my classic Ava video, which you can check out on crunchyroll.com, YouTube, but that glared so much in this video we had to scrap.
Okay, so from everything that I have seen, so right now I'm here.
Yeah.
Universal Century. This is the main line that I'm looking at. So Origin, Mobile Suit Gundam, 08 MS Team, Gravity Front, Stardust Memories, Suit Zeta Gundam, ZZ, Char's Counterattack, Unicorn. Okay, so you know what? Let me go ahead and print screen that. Gunpla build. Okay, so where's the build timeline? Okay, so right here. Build fighter. So it doesn't matter if so I could still I'm gonna still watch all this.
Except turn A.
Except turn A, 'cause fuck turn A.
Yeah.
And I can watch other series just to so I'm gonna keep watching Universal. I'm gonna keep watching this. Let's see, for Future Century. I need to rewatch Fighter G though. I need to watch that. I need to rewatch that. This can go to hell. Straight to hell.
It's turn A.
Yeah, but still. Like,
Brian, I'm gonna show you the mech. The mech of this Gundam series is trash.
Wait, what is it called?
Turn A.
Turn A Gundam.
Turn A Gundam.
Wrap it entirely, but this is what the timeline would have looked like. Yeah. RIP to that.
And that's it. That is it. That is the history
It has a
of all
mustache.
Gundam anime as
Mustache in the cockpit is literally on its crotch.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh hell.
Person for who made this, who made that timeline. You did me a great service. You did me a great and monumental service. But yeah, that suit is trash. That Gundam is trash.
Look archaic.
It is.
It don't even belong.
Exactly.
They said it's an ancient Gundam they found.
Ancient Gundam, my ass.
Yeah, ancient mind.
However, that is it. And I hope that went through and everything went through on that end. Everything went okay. Okay, everything just went fine with that. I want to say thank you to Master Zen for being here and clarifying things.
Yep.
I thank to also the person who also wanted me to get into this. Shout out to you. I don't want to put your name out there, so that way, you know.
You two just have to come up with a nickname.
He'll realize who I'm talking about him in this, because he definitely, I told him I was gonna do this video. But in that aspect, yeah, I am now into Gundam. I'm now into Gundam, and I will be continuing to watch what I was watching after this. So that's it. That's literally it. Expect something in the future about Gundam, because I definitely want to do. I would love to do a live stream of me playing at least one of these Gundam games. At least one. One that's good. Master Zen will tell me which one. He damn sure will.
There's a lot of games played.
You can let that process in your mind, but that, like, you don't gotta tell me right now at this point.
That depends. If you want to like make your own color type Gundam, it'll be the game that I gave you.
That wouldn't be a bad idea to live stream. I'm gonna figure out how to do that. I'm gonna figure out how to do that. That wouldn't be bad. That wouldn't be bad to live stream. I'm gonna figure out exactly how to do that. But in that aspect, I'm gonna get up out of here. Thank you guys so much for watching this. Shout out to the Ryder brothers in the background, Urban Ninja, Master Zen at my right, and I will see y'all in the next one.
Peace.